Hey guys, this is Ayushi. Today, I would like to talk about multimillionaire scam in India, as on exactly how these rich people in India escapes from Indian government even after doing scams of billions of dollars. They mostly flee to other countries such like UK and are never bothered to come back to India and pay back their loans and borrowings to the bank, which is directly a common man money who obviously deposit their earnings in bank thinking that it would exactly keep their money safe. But who knows what exactly happens behind the screen? People usually ignore all these scams thinking how does it really matters to them. Wake up people, it is our money that these fraudulents have taken for their own benefits. Basically looting all of us, and instead of going to jail, they flee to other countries. One of the prime suspects in this field we have is Vijay Mallya, owes 9,000 crore from 17 Indian banks and is accused of fraud and money laundering cases in the country. Nirav Modi. The Punjab National Bank fraud case relates to fraudulent letter of undertaking worth 1.4 billion issued by PNB Bank and its Brady House Fort in Fort Mumbai. The fraud was allegedly organized by the jeweler and designer Nirav Modi. According to ED investigation, he had created more than 15 shell companies outside the India. Well, not only Malia and Nirav Modi, there are other 36 businessmen that have already fled from this country in recent past. What is the matter with this country? All these people has done such big crimes and are still able to escape? If a pickpocket tends to go to jail for thieving a purse, then why such these businessmen live their life so lavishly? Basically, it could be explained through Antonio Gramsci theory of cultural hegemony, refers to domination or rule maintained through ideological means. This kind of power is distinct from rule by force as in dictatorship because it allows the ruling party to exercise authority using the peaceful means of ideology and culture, eventually giving them edge over poor people and thought of fooling and controlling them in their ways, even through money, which basically they can buy. Mid-level and junior level bank officials who belong to simple middle-class families get lured or bribed by the company. On this, Marx's thought was the idea of alienation. That is, when a worker has to sell his labor work, he becomes a commodity, something to be sold in the marketplace like thing. The worker who is a commodity is thus not a fully human. In the philosophical sense, since he cannot exercise free will to determine his action, the worker who is forced to exist as a commodity in the labor market is alienated from his humanness. In selling one's labor, that labor becomes alienated, something separate from or another than the labor, something divide from person that produces it. Or basically they don't get out of this real world. In Nirav Modi's case, CBI arrested Deputy Manager Gokulnath Shetty and a bank clerk Manoj Kharat. Mr. Kharat says, "My life is over. I am half dead anyway." I mean, it was not even his fault. He was just following his boss's order and doing his work diligently in the bank. In fact, he didn't even had a single idea of what they were actually making him to do. Funny, isn't it, how these powerful people have such a control on such low level income people and then involves such innocent people in fraudulent cases and finishes their life. This could be explained by Antonio Gramsci's another theory called subaltern, meaning of inferior rank. It's a term adopted by him to refer to those groups in society who are subject to the hegemony of the ruling classes. Subaltern classes may include peasants, workers, or other groups denied to access hegemonic power. According to CBI chart sheet, the manager had issued LOU without any collateral, and on this basis, Modi company had taken loans in dollars from branches of Indian banks in America, which they basically failed to repay. I mean, without collaterals, the bank give them such big amount of money. If I have to take a loan, even a student loan, I have to give my such a big collateral like a house property or something about my car or anything. But these people who are actually so rich have so many properties in their name or in their colleague's name. Bank gives them such loans for free without any guarantee. I have a very hard time to accept this, what exactly happens in our banking system. So one can understand that such type of financial frauds are impossible without the collaboration and cooperation from inside the bank. And in many cases, there is political support. And even if they are discovered, then there can be no investigation on them, which basically shows how corrupted is our system in every field. Alright, so now I would get it that why would not I get loans without any collaterals? Because I don't have any contacts in big man. A loophole was discovered where PNB's core banking system SPS software was not integrated with SWIFT system. How ironic is that? Even in banking sector the proper system are not installed yet, and because of these things fraud happens and eats up poor people money. Guys, it is our money that they take up from us and then they live so lavishly. They basically invest on big companies and they invest and then they take loans, and once they are unable to repay it, they flee from the country and nobody can do anything about it. And basically all such crimes have, to be honest, provoked other people to create more crimes. These scams happen in a day. The news goes for about 1 week, 2 weeks. People are suddenly aware about everything. They would start tweeting about everything. And after some time, everything will come to an end, right? Sometimes people wish to make social change. How we talk about people and their place in society cannot be left out of this process. I mean, we don't even know what exactly going on with these people. They might have given money to their lawyers or the policemen so that they could live silently and happily in US or UK, wherever they are. Another thing that makes us think how easy for them to take loans from public sector bank and engage in money laundering, the bitter truth is that the checks and balancing system of the state run is not that strong. Even 1 or 2 people of the bank are in collusion with the owners of the company, then the security of the system should be such a problem that it should be identified as soon as possible. I mean, what is RBI even doing, right? Well, RBI of India had served repeated reminders to PNB to integrate their banking system software with SWIFT, which was not actually updated. Such type of crime which Mallya and Modi are accused is known as white-collar crime, which usually committed by rich and educated people because of their greed and lust for money. It can also be explained through theory of false consciousness in people who believe the ideological representation of how the world actually works and thus perceive, and who do not see at all how the work really works in reality. This shows mentality of these people that could lead us to the capitalism, as in the end all we care about is money, ignoring the fact whose actually it is. Marxism sees capitalism as a mode of production emerging from feudalism. He focuses on capitalism as an unequal mode of production, one which exploits worker just as a slave state exploited slaves. According to Marx, this inequality is a fundamental aspect of capitalism and needs to be changed. Common man suffering. Mallya had not paid his employee for more than 6 months, delaying it by saying the company is in loss right now, but I would definitely pay it. One of the employee's wife committed suicide, stating the reason that his husband was not being paid and they were not able to live in brutal situation. Several employees had gone for a strike and protests, demanding to pay the salary immediately, on response to which Mallya again delayed. But ironically, in December 16, 2015, Mallya's December party in Goa are surely the most spectacular ones in India's party capital. That's how the king of good times should live, making a woman to commit suicide, not paying his employees, reluctant in giving salaries by saying it's bad time, but going on would smash a big party featuring 200 guests and nearly costing $2 million. It is their money. All those workers have given their life to make his dream successful. But he do not care about this. He is living so lavishly in UK right now with such a big mansion. And all these people have suffered. His wife committed suicide and he did not respond to her at all. Police did not do anything to him. He should have been arrested for going to jail, but it was not done at all. Well, in USA, it's a rule that if you're not paying your employee, you would be arrested. But in India, we cannot see such rules like that. The situation could refer to social stratification, which is a particular form of social inequality. All societies arrange their members in terms of superiority, inferiority, and equality. Stratification is a process of interaction or differentiation whereby some people come to rank higher than others. A society in which division of social classes exists is known as stratified society. What would have happened if there were more strict rules? What if RBI had made it mandatory to have SWIFT in PNB instead of just reminding them? What if their passport and visas had been confiscated after the scam was revealed? What if Malia had been arrested for not paying his employee? The harsh reality in India is India's richest 1% hold more than 4 times the wealth held by 953 million people who make up from the bottom 70% of the country's population, while the total wealth of Indian billionaires is more than the full year budget. India is a democratic country, but according to Louis Althusser, democracy gives the illusion that all people are equal and have equal power, but marks relation of economic exploitation. Because of this, a huge economic and income disparity has evolved. As bank keeps on supporting such millionaires and would force farmers to pay their bills, which is not even a size of grain as compared to loans they have granted to big companies of this. And because of this partiality, banks irresponsibility to have strict rules and regulations, such scammers are able to flee. Instead of giving loans to such businessmen without a single glitch, the money could have been used to feed poor people and try to eradicate poverty and unemployment. There could have been more reforms and more resolution in order to look onto India's actual problem. There could have been more construction of road or construction of schools and other things and cleanliness in India, more medical paybacks and everything. Instead of giving money without collaterals, all these money could have been used for people's benefit. It is our money. We pay tax. We deposit our money into banks, and these people flee country by taking our money, and we can't even do anything about it. It is a very serious problem, and these rules and regulations should be strictened so that in future this problem will not occur a major cause, as people should be aware about all these things, and they should have this fear that if next time they would do such big frauds, there would be some literally harsh damages that could be done to these people. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to me, and I hope that my idea was actually portrayed the way what I wanted to say, that how important it is for us to actually look up into this.